The final day awaits. One more opportunity to climb over your mini league rivals. Is it worth playing it safe or to go as bold as you possibly can? For the final game week preview, welcome to the Game Week 38 edition of the FPL Addicts Podcast. Happy Friday, everyone, and come Sunday, happy final day of the Premier League season. For football enthusiasts, arguably, this day is probably better than Christmas Day, and statistically, there's more goals to it than we would expect. And as per usual, I'm joined by my right-hand man, the guy who turns up every week, about to celebrate a trophy lift come Sunday. It being the beautiful, the beloved FPL Addicts Reidy. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Chaza. Good to finally get around to doing the last one of the season. But what we're going to do when it's over, mate? You know, no football this summer. We've got a World Cup next year to look forward to. But obviously, some big decisions to be made, whether that be mini leagues or just rank. So yeah, pleasure as always to be with you, mate, and looking forward to this pod.
Well, one would call it the On the Beach episode too, because usually some sides, as I head into the final day, they either score 5 goals and just win 5-4, or they're simply on the beach. I presume you may see what are probably some certain sides that may be on the beach come Sunday?
I think there's quite a few, isn't there? I mean, we've just had a Europa League Final, right, with Tottenham Hotspur, who are now European champions, I guess. Man United, both of those two firmly going to be on the beach on the last day of the season. Really poor season from them, obviously. West Ham, probably another team. Am I forgetting Palace, maybe? Obviously still hungover from the FA Cup. So there's a fair few. There's definitely a fair few. But there's also a fair few teams who are fighting for something, and that's Champions League places. And I think that's probably the most exciting thing we've got left to look forward to, right, Chaza?
You're absolutely spot on. Yes, plenty of table bonus opportunities, which we'll get to later. But as always, the integral part, the DNA of this podcast is saying hello to everyone who has joined in. And you know what? There's a few. Gary, assembling for this season finale. Good afternoon to you. Miriam, as always, been messaging me all week when this episode's dropping in. And here you are. There we land. We've got Colm Fulham at home to Man City on the final day of the season. We've got Roberto Holebas, who used to play for Watford. Good afternoon to you as well. Cortex, being one of the great recruiters when it comes to chiming in with some comments. Good afternoon to you as well. And we've got first-time watcher, it being Regina Wilson. I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, but hello and welcome to the Addicts Podcast and tuning in. So we've got a few. Do we start from a cinematic perspective? And that is probably our mini league. Is that correct, Reidy?
Oh, we could. I mean, the last game week's fixtures matter much, or should we just? I tell you what, get the mini leagues out of the way. We'll do that, and then maybe whether it be fixtures, whether it be our game week scores, bit of both. Let's go with that then, Chaza.
Cool. Right, and who would have thought 7 points difference at the end of it? Mate, you had a really good score. I can't lie. I'll start off with myself first, and if Rev and Jack somehow turn up unexpectedly, we'll go to them in due course. Right, 69 points. Okay. Conzo on the bench didn't help. Watkins got his mere return. Bowen, Rogers, and Boomo did the bits. The Jefferson goal from Bournemouth in the 96th minute hurt. Ray with a clean sheet. Eze got a goal. But the fireworks is actually coming from my right-hand man, Fabian Hurstler, with a 19-pointer. And, yeah, it's done okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, decent score, mate. I think obviously Hertzler's got you over the line in a way, with a 19-pointer. Fair play for you for going for it. I'd have probably done the same, possibly wasn't expecting us to still lose when we were 2-1 up and so on. So, yeah, fair play to you for getting that one right. You've nailed it. I mean, the cons of points on the bench, obviously that's a killer, but I can see where you were going with the double Man City clean, and you were pretty close to pulling it off. Obviously, I'm glad that you didn't, and I'm glad that you benched Konza. But yeah, mate, 69. I mean, haven't you had a few 69s this season?
Well, it's not the first time I've been on it for a few days now, so.
Yeah. Like, listen, you're still fairly happy, right? It could have been. There's always that saying, isn't it? Could have been worse. But are you more on the could have been worse, or are you more on the nearly so close side of things?
I mean, it was another good game week. I mean, this is the highest possible overall rank I've had all season, just inside the top 150k. So despite it being a challenging season, I've still had a lot of fun partaking, even with the bad weeks, and it makes it for cinematic viewing, especially for those that do tune in, and it just makes you enjoy going for those punts that work out really well. You tend to save them a lot more.
Yeah. Pretty true. I mean, they're few and far between the points that we get right, and the business end of the season or the back end of the season when we see teams in cup competitions, we're seeing players being dropped or rotated. It does make it more difficult. So 100%, mate. You have got to kind of savor the good ones when they do come in.
Yeah. Right, Reidy, you went a few points better. Well done to you with a 4-point hit, but you had the bench boost played, which eventually came in handy. What was it, 22 points? You take that, especially late on. Over to you.
Yeah, we'll take that, mate. And I tell you what, I'll take even more than that, and that's an Everton double clean sheet because, oh my God, since wildcard I've had these guys and I've basically benched them when they've got their points, and when I've played them, they've blanked. So it was, wasn't expecting, some clean sheet points from them. So luckily, it was the last game at Goodison, so maybe that made things a bit easier for them. But yeah, double clean there. Obviously, the other side of the defence, Munoz and Guardiola, wasn't expecting much. Like yourself, nearly got a clean sheet from the City player. Bowen just Mr. Consistent, isn't he? He's been great over the last few games for West Ham, as bad as they've been. And in Mbumo, I think this is the one that not killed me, frustrated me a little bit, because obviously when I'm following the Brentford Fulham game at the time, I'm seeing he scored. I'm going, wow, great start. He's my captain, and then they get a penalty, and I'm going, oh my God, this could be amazing. And then he misses his penalty. So that's what kind of frustrated me a bit, because that could have been a great captain haul. But I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that captained in Mbumo, but it just stung a little bit. De Bruyne, not great. Again, City, just not great overall. And then if you move down, Chaza,
yeah,
you can see, other than Watkins, it's just a little bit rubbish. I mean, I don't know what Erling Haaland's doing these days, but he's certainly not putting the ball in the back of the net like a certain Mr. Marmouche. So overall, not too bad. Obviously, the bench boost went great. Cucurella, by the way, Chaza, was for a -4. And the reason that worked out is because I brought in Collins for Nico Williams, and I made that kind of move a little bit early. And then obviously we had the news of Timber not training all week. And then I can't remember if it was seeing team news saying, where he wasn't in the squad or wasn't started or something. So I did that move on the Friday, and I brought in Cucurella. So that really is probably the saviour of my bench boost, really is. Yeah. So thank you to Mark Cucurella for that. But yeah, 74 all out or 70 all out.
Yeah, no, really good. I mean, with Cucurella too, he scored all 5 of his goals this season in home games. So you utilised the advantage really well there, Reidy.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a bit lucky in a sense. I know United went ahead first, and it was offside. So, could have been a different outcome. But yeah, and just want to. I know. Obviously, Elliot doesn't come on and do the podcast. Most of the boys obviously don't come on, but we have got to mention, because I know me and you are close for second and third spot. But in terms of Elliot, what he's done this season, it's probably better that he's not come on the podcast, because he's not messed up or whatever. So, I mean, nearly 2,500 points. He's in the top 100k, I'd imagine. I don't know if he's in top 50k. But yeah, fair play to him if he still watches, or if he tunes in every now and then. Well done, Elliot, mate, getting the podcast league wrapped up.
Worthy kudos indeed. Yeah, so Reidy, you're on 2440. I'm on 2433. So it's safe to say it's all to play for on the final day. Before we go to our other mini leagues, Reidy, let's talk about the Europa League final, because if I'm going to be honest, it was probably an underwhelming game overall. Very scrappy, a Johnson goal or own goal, whatever you like to call it. But it's huge for Ange Postecoglou. It's huge for a Greek economy sense of football. It's huge for Australia. And is it huge, I think, I'd say, for the league in general and the diversity of managers?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's interesting in a way, because obviously managers, from Australia, generally, you don't get many of them coming over and managing teams. And, you've had a few players in the past who've come over and done great, like Tim Cahill. You've had an abundance of players, but never really managers as much. And I think ultimately you come in and it's almost like you're set up to fail. So fair play to him for sticking at it, and fair play for him kind of giving it to the media. He's brought great personality, something different, bit more refreshing, I suppose. And yeah, as bad as Spurs' season has been, he's pulled it off, and he's won the game when it mattered. Albeit, as you said, it wasn't the best and most entertaining finals, I suppose. But when you're the team who's lifting the trophy, you're probably not going to care at that point.
Yeah, no, great point. I just think it's huge that he got it, and after all, he wins trophies in his second season. So
he does what he says on the tin, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's an old saying, kind of like, put your money where your mouth is. And that's certainly something that Ange has done. It is really something that could have haunted him, because imagine they had a lost and he's come out with this saying. I mean, it would have been completely opposite to kind of how it has panned out. But yeah, great to have someone from your neck of the woods, so to speak, kind of, getting a trophy and getting the job done. The big question is though, Chaza, does he keep his job or not?
Oh, surely he does. I mean, they've got Champions League. But I think it would be silly for Spurs if they do change manager. And the philosophy he's created, I think the players buy into his vision. Despite all the troublesome obstacles he's had, I think he stays now. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair dues.
What about you?
Hard to tell with Levy. Hard to tell in terms of they've got certain players that probably need to go out. They do need to do a bit of a refresh. Obviously, European distractions can have an effect on your league campaign. We've seen it with other teams previously, Burnley, and I know there's a gulf between teams like Burnley and Tottenham and things like that. But it just seems to take that sort of toll on teams. So I hope he keeps his job. I hope he stays. But I do feel like he does definitely need the backing. And yeah, hopefully we see him still in the Premier League next season.
Yeah. Right. That was in the public eye. Now we go straight to the public league, with Tom Stone still leading by 28 points ahead of Steve Ward heading into the final day. Few movers and shakers inside the top 10, with a handful of managers getting green arrows on their end from the previous game week. Right, Reidy, final dance, where we could dance a night away, but where do we prioritise our transfers? Because it seems, especially with statistics in previous seasons, goals happen more often than not than actual shutouts. Where do we prioritise it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm hoping there's some exciting stuff going on, lots of goals and things like that. Obviously, like final day of the season. But do you mean? So I guess you mean like what moves or like what teams maybe?
Yeah, both.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of teams obviously playing for Champions League. You've got Forest, you've got Chelsea, you've got Man City, you've got Newcastle, you've got Aston Villa. I mean, those games, and I think probably Aston Villa have the best fixture of the lot, even though it is away, at Old Trafford. So I feel like you have to kind of go for some of the players in these teams. I mean, some of us do have the likes of Watkins anyway. We own, if you own Isak still, with a nice fixture at home to Everton. And there's people that brought in Cole Palmer last week and stuff. Forest players seem to have been a mainstay in people's teams. So there's a bit of this and there's a bit of that. But if you were to ask me to pick like one player, for example, to go for, I interestingly would go for someone like Morgan Gibbs-White. And I know that might be a little bit left field, so to speak, but I feel like he's had a great season for Forest. He's been a massive part to to them winning games and so on. I think it's a punt, I guess, depending on how many transfers you've got. Where are you where's your attention being drawn to, Chaza?
I think for those with the assistant manager chip, you've got to have to roll the dice one more time and put it on a manager who's capable of table bonus. If not, I think Bournemouth has a really good fixture at home to Leicester. Well, you know what? In fairness, because we're already talking about it, let's just go straight to it. We'll do the Women's League after this or whenever we can. This is it. The only game week of the season where everyone plays at the same time. If you got any other overseas, chuck on all your 10 channels. You're going to have possibly the time of your life. Here it is.
Yeah. That's it. I wish as well this happened more often during the season. I would love this. Imagine all the games kicking off at the same time. Obviously, we know it can't happen due to TV and stuff like that. But the fact that we get it on the last day is absolutely fantastic. You do make a good point though, Chaza. If you're not chasing, if you're not looking for a player that maybe is chasing Champions League, there are a couple of good fixtures there for FPLs, especially Bournemouth being one. Arsenal being another, and I think they're the kind of two standout fixtures that you'd go, okay, well, you'd be expecting a Bournemouth win and you'd be expecting an Arsenal win. West Ham is another one against Ipswich. Bowen owners, obviously you want to keep him if you've got him. Do you want to go there if you've got an extra couple of transfers in the back pocket? Bowen would be a great shout. From Arsenal, let's look at that one. Who? Is it just Saka? I've spoken to a mate this morning who's got one free transfer left, and I've won the mini league, thank God for that. But he's competing for second, and he's made his move, and he's brought in Ben White. And I said, you've got one transfer left at the end of the season, and you make a defender move. What's going on? I mean, surely not Chaza, right? Ben White.
Of all people, I think a defensive transfer probably isn't the way to go with a week to go. Unfortunate for me to say, but Saliba's out, so maybe that does create an opportunity for him. But yeah, there's Saka, but he just has not been good since that injury. He's not even. There's so many better alternatives at the moment. From an Arsenal perspective, it could either be Trossard or Martinelli as a better shouts on the final day.
Yeah, I like those two. I mean, I think the best player for you attacking wise, for me, has been Trossard. I think he's been great. He's probably been unlucky that he's not come back with more returns from a goal and assist point of view. And obviously, there's rumours. Well, I think Arteta's done his presser, but I don't think I've not looked at any pressers. Not had a chance this morning. But is there rumours that Havertz could be back maybe for the last game?
Who knows? It's just with a final day, you expect more rotation than forecasted managers.
Yeah,
I just do it, whatever.
You think Arteta said, "Don't worry, it's party time after this. We're second. I'm gonna chop and change a little bit, maybe." I mean, it's difficult for me because I'm thinking, Bournemouth. I'm leaning towards Bournemouth, and I'm going. one free transfer. I don't want to take a hit really, but then there's those that like it's appealing, isn't it? It is appealing to kind of go for one Arsenal, one Bournemouth, or maybe two from each, something like that. What have you kind of got in your mind? I'm intrigued to know.
In terms of the standout fixture?
Well, the standout move that you're kind of, I know you probably show us in a bit, but the move that you're thinking of, or are you thinking of a couple?
Nah, just one move. You got a sustainable and enough XI. I don't really see much point in taking a hit on the final day. It's too short time to make up for it. I think an assistant manager, because currently still have it, and with the fixtures that you've presented here, there's 8 possible table bonus opportunities with the 2 games not included, West Ham away at Portman Road plus Forest and Chelsea, because they're both fine for Champions League. In terms of standout game, I think it's hard to go past Nottingham Forest Chelsea.
Yeah, I think that's the one that probably a few eyes are going to be on for sure. I mean, it's massive for both clubs, but it's probably even bigger for Nottingham Forest, who for a long while were looking like they were going to have Champions League wrapped up this season. But as we know, the run-in is relentless. Teams have been breathing down their necks, and obviously they've kind of dropped down in the table. So, yeah, that is going to be a great game. What do you think of the Liverpool and the Palace game? Do you see it being maybe like the Spurs game when we officially won the league on that day, where we kind of just go and score a load of goals, or do you think it'll be very passive? Both teams, one team's won the league and others won the FA Cup, and that saying of on the beach.
I reckon I call this game a hangover Classico, where 22 players play drunk on the field. I mean, Palace, they're not going to care. They've won the FA Cup, which we haven't even mentioned yet. It needs to be given its spotlight during today's broadcast. And do you reckon Slot cares? I don't know. Look, Liverpool fans, it's just an anticlimactic ending, to be fair.
Yeah.
2-2.
Yeah.
Just for a while.
2-2?
Yeah.
Wow, big one. A game I want to mention, Chaza, because, we talk about Champions League places and so on, and we talk about a team that are trophyless this season for the first time in how long? Since Peppers definitely took over anyway. Manchester City need to win this game to secure Champions League football next season. Do you think this is something whereby it's going to be a tricky game for them? Do you see them breezing easy? Rodri's back now. Maybe he starts for them, which makes a massive difference. But do you think this is a bit of a sticky game for them?
Absolutely, it is. Fulham have a really good record at home against some of the top sides, having defeated Liverpool 3-2. They drew against Arsenal. They managed to beat Chelsea away from home earlier in the season. They may have got Nottingham Forest once, but I'm just trying.
Yeah, they did. They did beat Forest. Yeah, I think it was.
So, no, they're a good side on their day, Fulham, and it's a really good table bonus opportunity game. It's just more what sort of City side turns up on the final day. They lost to Brentford a few seasons back 1-0. And however, final day last season, when it counted the most, they delivered 1-3-1 at home to West Ham. So, mate, we're just stacked. I can't wait, isn't it? It should be an absolute belter. We've had some really good comments, actually, just coming through. Cortex with a great shout. 37 goals scored in the last game week of the season. It being last season. Joe, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking. Appreciate it. Brighton has the best fixture of a lot. You're not wrong. They could be with a damaged pitch too, considering Tottenham fans did their own screening of the Europa League Final. Regina has kept his free hit up to this week. Just go all out. Have some fun. Greedy Trossard. Quick one. Does Diaz start? Yes or no?
Oh, you can't be asking me that. Oh, God. Does Diaz start? Gakpo's fit. Nunes, could be off. I'm just going to say 50-50. If it's to go for him, to pick him in FPL, Cortex, I'd avoid. If you've already got him, depends who else you've got. Obviously, I'd just probably start him if you own him. But it could be any team on Sunday. It really could. And also minutes. You could be trying to give minutes to anybody and everybody. So I wouldn't go there if you were thinking of buying him.
Oh, yeah. Big one.
But yeah, Regina, I just want to just quickly go back to Regina's comment there, Chaza. I mean, keeping the free hit to the end of the season is some going. And then to be top of all the mini leagues since day one, that's some achievement. So I hope she gets it right and absolutely smashes this free hit. So that's extra fun on top of all the fixtures being played at the same time. So it's definitely one of them. Make sure your phone's fully charged come Sunday because you're gonna need it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Best of luck with Gina on that front. Cortex, interesting one on KDB. Would you keep him or transfer him out? I'd say personally keep him.
Yeah, I mean, depends where else you want to make moves. I think for me, I own KDB. You haven't got KDB, is that right, Chaza?
Nah, one.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of hate myself. Like, it's relative, by the way. I don't just hate myself. I hate myself for bringing in KDB and Haaland. I really like. I know why I did it because the team was leaked, and I've got too carried away and went, do you know what? I'm going to bring him in. In 2 games, Southampton and Bournemouth, they've done, absolutely jack. De Bruyne obviously missing a really good chance in the game against Bournemouth. So, yeah, I hate that. I mean, if I had more than one transfer, I'd definitely be looking at taking KDB out. Does he play? That's another thing. We don't know if he 100% starts. But I am keeping one eye on that just because I am tempted to go to Saka. I am tempted to go from KDB to Saka. So if you've got one for each transfer and you do see KDB's benched and Saka starts, that could be a move that you do, Cortex.
Yeah. Well played, Reidy. I really like that response. Now, as promised, we've got to go to the Women's League because we've got a new leaderboard 1 week to go. Georgia has taken up the top mantle. She leads by 1 point at the moment over one of the favourites from down under, it being Mira. Got 47 points, but everyone else roughly within the top 10 has kind of stayed where they are. But big final day heating up in that Women's League. It's always,
yeah. Very tight, isn't it, Chaza? I mean, what 1, 2, 3, literally. I mean, 1 point between the top 3. That's insane. That is insane.
Yeah. Right. Before we go to our teams, I want to ask a spontaneous question to you, Reidy. What does Gameweek 38 mean to you in general? It could be as a football fan. It can be from a FPL perspective, because it feels like everything sort of comes to its conclusion, but you kind of just also, do you see it as a good time to sort of celebrate and reflect the campaign that's been? I know we talk more on our post-season show after the final day, but what does Gameweek 38 bring to you?
I think for me personally, I'd like to think it can bring joy. Obviously, depending what your team are doing in the league. I mean, I know from a personal point of view, we've won the league and had the league won, for a few games now. So, that's always nice, something to celebrate. I mean, I think generally the season, you can kind of celebrate that. Just the fact that you've enjoyed the football throughout the whole season. And yeah, just looking forward to one last kind of hurrah, if you like. I just enjoy that. And I enjoy, obviously, FPL, if you tie that in. Everybody who's played this game, we're all kind of nerds. We're all geeks in our own way who play this game, and kind of it means something to means more to some people than it does others. So, yeah, I just think enjoy the last day, take it in, soak it in. Because that's it for the summer until we get it back in August. So, yeah, mate, how about yourself? How do you you look at it in a different light? Do you kind of just go, oh, well, the season's done, that's it. It is what it is.
No, definitely not the last option. I always see it as a celebration and a reflection on not just sort of doing the process of all the game week videos, but also everything that's been achieved from a personal front, the movements having made, all the different commitments, especially from the start of the season. Doing that final broadcast from my childhood home, going to, 3 different countries as well. The sort of commitments I've had through the course of a campaign. And I am actually quite proud in what's been achieved from a personal front, but also finding a way to stay committed every game week, delivering the videos and also helping out with this podcast, which is one of the great joys, especially every week when I didn't really have a lot going during the festive period, personally, from a job sake, but this thing is what I really looked forward to a lot just talking about football, even having a few people watching on. I mean, that's kind of all we need sometimes.
Yeah. Well put. I think that's it, isn't it? It's like that engagement. We've all got that sort of common interest. And yeah, like you say, I mean, celebrating the last game of the season or last day of the season. If there's something to play for, to kind of look forward to, like we've got with these Champions League sort of things, then even better. So, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be here if we didn't love football. So I think that's just how it is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gameweek 38 too. We've got another FPL Meets event in London, so it would be nice to sort of celebrate that final day with other like-minded managers. Just vibe, to be honest. And speaking of vibes, I think that's sort of a motto with transfers, which is why we're on the transfer traffic now. Top 5 ins and outs. Any particular surprises that you see here, Reidy?
Oh, surprises! Oh God, last game week of the season. No surprises in really. Pretty straightforward, I think. People are bringing in Wissa. I don't see the point in that one for this game week unless your front three are absolutely abysmal. Those probably top 4, I would say top 4 are kind of on the money. I'm just looking at the fixtures. I mean, I think they're the kind of like safe picks, if you like. There are some punts that can be, can kind of come of this, if you like. There's Brighton. I know someone mentioned in the chat about the Brighton game. Spurs, they're going to be hungover from that Europa League win. So Brighton could go and score a load of goals there. But yeah, looks straightforward to me. I mean, would you say for the ins? I mean, the outs, if you want to mention that one, that's something that obviously might be surprising. There is a player on there I'm very surprised about, but yeah, what do you think?
It's a stacked caliber of players on the transfers out. Mo Salah, I mean, he's 2 goal involvements away from breaking the season record within a solitary campaign. At home to Palace, he's got a very good record, which will be mentioned in the beloved late captain's corner. Saliba, I mean, if you've got good defensive cover, there's not really much point transferring him out. Alexander Isak, fitness test, as long as you have a good bench. Was that Chris Wood? 4th most transferred out. He's at home to Chelsea. He scored against him earlier in the season. I mean, De Bruyne, I mean, they might just...
The Mo Salah one is definitely the most surprising. What I will say on that is, I actually don't own Mo Salah, strangely enough. I did sell him. I think he was one of the players. That's who I ultimately, I think, sold for De Bruyne. Now, it's not worked against me, but it's also not worked for me. So game week 36, I think I made that move. But I am kind of a little bit scared this weekend for the final game week, not owning Salah. So, the kind of temptation is there to take out Haaland and De Bruyne and bring in Salah and Evan Nielsen. 4 and -4 though, is it worth it? I just don't know. Then there's obviously people who own Salah and Saka. So yeah, I mean, very surprising on that one, Chaza, as you say, looking to break his records. Last home game, trophy, lift. He could end up going off big time, couldn't he, in that game?
He could do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go. Actually, very quickly, best punts on the final day. You got any?
Best punts, I would say. I think Brighton players, as I said before, isn't a bad shout. I do like the likes of Matoma. I can't remember. It was actually Brighton v Liverpool the other night. Oh my word! There was a ball played out towards the left. Matoma's managed to keep the ball in, and kind of like the control. I think it happened at one point in the season where maybe he got voted for like one of the goals of the month or whatever it was. Or he had this like absolutely sublime touch, and he did it, as I say, against us the other night. And I think someone like Matoma will be a decent punt. I think outside of that, if he is fit, because he did get brought off on 45 minutes against Manchester City, someone like Cliver at home to Leicester, if he is fit, as I say, and he's all good. There we go, Michael. Thank you very much. It was indeed. I think if you're going to go outside of that, got me thinking now. I would say, as you mentioned before, actually, Chaza, a Trossard or a Martinelli. But those would be mine, I'd say.
Yeah, no, good shout.
Any for you that you kind of,
tempted by it slightly. Maybe in the current predicament, probably won't go there. Bournemouth assets are home to Leicester. I think Evan Nilsson, I think he's the most transferred in forward. You got Clivert, you got Semenyo. Yeah, Brighton, I have another good one. Just trying to figure out West Ham, maybe, if you don't know Holland, but yeah.
Will you be talking about a Thomas Souček?
Possibly. I mean, he's good off the set piece. He has scored from time to time.
Yeah. It's funny, actually, on the last day of the season, that no one, I mean, in that top transfers top 5 at least, there's no City players. And in the transferred out, De Bruyne's on that list. On the last day of the season, and don't get me wrong, the fixture's not the best in comparison to some others. Isn't it mental that nobody's kind of considering City players because of how poor they've been, how bad they've been? It just doesn't. It's very rare that it happens, right?
Correct. City have scored 26 goals in their last 9 opening final day fixtures in total. So that's nearly 3.
Ooh, okay, interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
So,
I mean, I'm hoping that comes to fruition for me for having De Bruyne and Haaland. However, I cannot guarantee that come the deadline, they will still be in my team. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. That's the transfers. We've got a couple of other questions, and then we'll do a beautiful curtain raisers, and that is reveal our sides for the very last time this season. Quick question: is Arsenal defence essential for this week? I don't believe so.
I don't think essential. I think it's going to obviously be a very, very kind of mismatched defence. I mean, Saliba's out, no Gabriel. I don't know what's going on with Timber at the minute, whether he's fit, but you've got like literally Zinchenko, then White, Kyo, maybe a Tierney, although he's generally not playing left back. Miles Lewis-Skelly, if that's how you say it. If I've done that, that's amazing. But if not, I apologise. And yeah, it's you'd still expect them to keep it clean, right? But if you're going to pick someone, Chaza, out of the list I've just mentioned, who is it?
Not really anyone to transfer in, to be honest.
I would say, for me, it's a boring pick. It's just Kyo. That's it. Yeah. That's literally as good as it gets. And you know what? Does that get you 6 points? Is the ceiling any higher than that? Probably not. So, yeah, it's I wouldn't be going there. If you've got any Arsenal defenders other than Saliba, then obviously they'll keep.
Fair. All right, Reidy, I presume it's probably time to review our sides.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah, you go first. Go on. I'll let you do the honors, mate. I'll let you do the
honors. Well, it's quite is it exciting? Well, I don't know. For final day, it does tend to bring excitement. So, just it's in the background, and now it's on the forefront. Here we are. So, 1 free transfer. There's no bank as well. Raven goal, double City defence. Bit precarious on that. Konza is going to be on field for Saliba. Been punished by Konza the last 3 weeks, so won't make a move on that department. 5-man midfield. Watkins Cunha up front. There is going to be a change on the assistant manager. 2 Palace boys on the bench. Now, 2 options I had. One is potentially change assistant manager and take a hit, take Mateta out, bring in Evan Nilsson. But considering Eze has scored, I think, nearly up there for most points of any midfield in the last 4 game weeks, I see merit having him on field away at Anfield, especially with Liverpool being sort of on the beach since they've clinched the title. And I'm content with that decision. Because of it, we're going to do our transfer, and it's going to be an assistant manager move. We are bound to pick, let's say, one of the 8 managers who does have a table bonus opportunity. Where is he? Oh, it's a hard one. So Glasner could get it. Moyes could get it. Slot, no. No. Ursula, no. Emery, no. Let's just go here. let's just go here. We're going Pereira at home to Brentford.
Oh, Pereira. Wait. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, I was like, wait. And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I get where you're coming from. Pereira, I thought you were doing silver. What's going on, man?
Thought about it, but I'm going to go Pereira at home to Brentford. And I think, do I want to
wait. So are they 5 places? Is that definitely table bonus?
It is, yeah.
100%.
Well, if not, well, congratulations on winning the mini league between us two. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is. Only just meets the criteria.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, has this been confirmed, Chaza? Elsewhere?
No, it has. Yeah, on an article, it does count as a game.
Okay, all right, 100%. Right, wow, you had me worried for a minute. Then I was thinking, wait a minute, I'm looking at the league table. I can see there's 4 teams between them, but effectively you count one of the places as onto that 4, right? So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting you to go for him. Wolves at home to Brentford. Very, very interesting, mate. I mean, I think outside of that, really, the only other options would have been Man United against Villa. Ugh. Tottenham against Brighton.
No.
Ugh. And then I think you'd have had... no, you couldn't even add Forest against Chelsea. Fulham, sorry, we said about that before. Fulham v Man City. Wow.
Good shout.
Wow. So that was the other one that you were considering, but it's done, and that's the only move of your game week or the final day.
Yeah, I think so. I'm tempted by Jarrod Bowen, captain.
Wow. Interesting. I think he will be a popular captain, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at some of the fixtures of those players there. There's not many great fixtures, and given what we've said about some of the teams being on the beach, some of these games might not actually be the most exciting. Jarrod Bowen, not a bad shout whatsoever. Don't mind it.
I reckon I'll just leave it for now and just kind of leave it as that. And Colm, you're correct, because the scoreline will be revealed in the next segment. That's me done. And to the team, saluting for one last time. Over to you, Reidy, with your Gameweek 38 side and the side out on the bus.
Yeah, mate, let's pull it up for me. It's there, waiting for you. I've had it on the screen. There we go, my son. Yeah, this is the team for the final day. Defensively, I don't know how I've ended up here, Chaz. I mean, I've got 1 City, 1 Chelsea, 1 Brentford, 1 Palace, and 1 Everton. Well, actually 2 Everton if you count Pickford. But yeah, am I expecting many clean sheets? I mean, the answer's probably not. If I had a Bournemouth defender, that would have been pretty nice. But 0.6 in the bank. I'm not going to make a live transfer, unfortunately, because with all the games kicking off at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing if we get, some team news and stuff like that. So I am considering, this would be pretty straightforward move. Mateta to Evan Nielsen. I can afford that one, which gives me 2.3 in the bank, but it's the last game week, so it is what it is. Other than that, there is this option, which is take out Haaland, take out De Bruyne, who were brought in game week 36. And basically, I would do the same thing. Actually, I would put in Evan Nielsen instead of for Mateta, and then I'd be bringing in someone who I sold as well, which would be Mo Salah. And even then, I've got 5.6 in the bank. If it was a week where there wasn't things on the line, look, you could literally go Alanga to Saka. So I'd have Salah, Salah, Saka, Evan Nielsen. Look, here we go. Boo, Reidy the chicken. But no, that's a -8. And we're not silly, Colm. We're playing for mini leagues here. There's cash involved. But yeah, so there are a few moves I can do. I mean, the Salah thing, I can actually just do this if I wanted. There's a third option, and that is De Bruyne to Saka. Straight move. So, oh, wow. Wait, Chaza.
What we got?
I can't do De Bruyne to Saka. Oh. Has there been a price change last night or something?
Not particular sure.
We need to find this out, don't we? Well, I could always find it out later, but oh my god. I mean, have I been priced out of De Bruyne to Saka? Because I'm pretty sure the other day I could actually do that move. So I mean, I guess that's out of the window, that one. So it's either Evan Nielsen for Mateta or Salah and Evan Nielsen for Haaland and De Bruyne. As it stands, probably do that. And that would be my team on paper at the moment. So yeah, mate. Yeah, not the most exciting, I guess, in a way. But I'm hoping City absolutely batter Fulham, which I never thought I'd be saying. Because I'd rather them not get Champions League football. That would be great. No trophies this season. No Champions League football. Amazing. And we won the league and so on. However, from an FPL point of view, I wouldn't mind Haaland turning up and scoring a hat-trick. Which he did actually. Was it this season or last season he did when he scored a hat-trick and people triple captained him? Am I right in saying that? Or was it
later in the season?
Maybe, yeah. So yeah, mate, what do you think? I mean, pretty similar team. Captain, I haven't decided as of yet. I mean, if I had to pick, it probably would be Bowen based on what I've got. Possibly even do Vice on Bumo. And that'd be me done.
Love it. No, it's good. Yeah, best of luck. Well, actually, no.
Best of luck. Yeah, you're saying. Actually, wait a minute. You want to finish with me? I mean, that assistant manager could clinch it for you anyway, mate. So,
well, we shall see. And even the captaincy call, which is why we're into our final segment for the episode. And is it Cobb? No, he's seen a lot at the moment, but we're going to dance that away. Give you plenty of captain choices. We'll start with the Egyptian king, Masala la 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 la. At home to Crystal Palace, he has blanked in just 3 of his 18 appearances at home this season, averaging 7.9 points per home appearance. 8 goals and 5 assists in his 15 league appearances against Crystal Palace. He's, as mentioned before, only 2 goal involvements away from breaking the all-time record for most involvements in a campaign in what is called the Hanover Classico at Anfield on Sunday. Ollie Watkins, away at Man United, who heavily rotated themselves prior to the cup final on Wednesday. Well, Villa's number 11, main man in the middle, up front, let's say, 28 points in his last 4 league starts, which is double more than the first option named, it being Mo Salah, within that period. Man United have conceded 13 big chances in their last 4 game weeks, the most of any side since that time. And within that, they haven't been able to keep a shutout. Jared Bowen, away to Ipswich, 5 goals and 2 assists from his last 7 league appearances. The most transferred in player heading into the final day come Sunday with 185,000 new owners. In addition, he got a goal and an assist in the fixture earlier in the season, in which Hammers won 4-1 at the London Stadium. Furthermore, Ipswich have conceded 15 goals in their last 5 home games. Mbumo and Bissatime. Mbumo has returned in each of his last 3 games. Plus, he scored in the earlier fixture back in October where Brentford did beat Wolves 5-3 and 2 defenders scored in that day as well. Visser, 5 goals and 2 assists in his last 6 game weeks between the pair. They've managed 49 attacking returns. Could they make it half century, raising the bat style at the Molineux come Sunday? Bukayo Saka away to Southampton. This is a final option. Not much on the Saka front, but just from Arsenal in general. Now, the 20th place side have conceded 5 goals on the final day in 4 of the last 10 seasons. Plus, the Gunners have scored 5 goals on 2 occasions within their last 3 final days outing. So that is it for Captain's Corner, bowing out. Maybe a sing-along on the post-season show, and we welcome him back to the life of a party, similar to Shawn Mendes. It is Reidy back in his hot seat, so plenty to choose from. Whew.
Wow, that was a massive, massive Captain's Corner to end the season, Chaza. And this door's opening on its own. I don't know, must have a ghost in here, FPL ghost turning up. So yeah, captains could be massive for people. I mean, certainly if you're trying to transfer a player in that you do want a captain, whether that be a Saka or a Bournemouth player, or even just playing it safe and going Jared Bowen. So yeah, mate, great Captain's Corner. Love that. Mo Salah, oh God. That is scaring me a bit. Not owning Mo on the last day. God, what is going on? But yeah, mate, good luck to obviously to yourself. I'm going to wish you good luck, by the way. I hope you do well. Really do. And okay, you can see you're like, what the hell is he on about here? He doesn't want me to do well. But yeah, anyone else obviously who's got any chips left, who's close to winning mini leagues, whatever it may be. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, I think so. I need 2,433. I need 67 points to reach 2,500, which can be doable. But to break my actual ever personal points total within a singular campaign, I need 93 to equal it 94. But it's such a tough ask come the final day. 100 has been achieved in a single game week before this campaign, but the chances and probabilities are incredibly slim, but in the highest possible overall rank through the course of the season at the moment. So I'd be loving to maintain it or even improve on it. What's your goal with the last game week to go?
My goal? Just to get as many points as possible, isn't it? Really? I mean, just to kind of like try and finish as high as I can. I mean, I'm 130k. I know we're similar rank-wise. At this stage, it's too difficult to be getting top 100k, I would think anyway. Yeah, I would think. And yeah, so it's kind of, just one of those. Learn from it. Next season, don't jump the gun and go for City players unless they're like much, much better. Don't sell Mo Salah towards the end of the season. And yeah, that's pretty much everything you can take from it.
Yeah. Well, I reckon that will do it. Thank you to the viewers that are tuning in, especially Rodrina being the first time listener. And, well, we've got to squeeze in a post-season show somehow to wrap all things up. We'll talk about that in due course.
Well, we'll see, mate, who finishes above who in the mini league. And, if I'm below you, we might need to postpone that post-season podcast. But yeah, I'm all for it if I finish in second, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, yeah. My best team win between us two. And for final time, all the best. Roll on the match day. Thank you once again, Reidy, for tuning in. And we'll catch you for the post-season show.